This will be the first video of 2 for graphing 2 of the 4 questions. The first question is sketch a graph of cosine function whose period is 8 pi, amplitude is 4, phase shift is right 2 pi, vertical shift is up 2, over the interval of negative 4 pi to 14 pi. So what you want to do is you want to break it down into information you know. We have a period of 8 pi. You have an amplitude of 4. You have a phase shift right of 2 pi. Vertical shift is up 2. And then the other big thing that we need to know is that we have a cosine function. So taking all that information, I'm going to write down what we got and work out from there. So my amplitude is 4. So if amp equals 4, and then if it says I went up 2, so if I went up 2, my midline is at y equals 2, so I know where my middle line is, which means I'm going to go top, bottom. So top would be 2 plus 4, which would equal 6, and my bottom would equal 2 minus 4, which equals negative 2. My period is 8 pi, so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the left side and go 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. And you can do this 2 different ways, all right? You can take and write down what your new period is, which on the bottom would be 8 pi, and say, how did 2 pi become that? Which means I took everything times 4. So then you could write down your new numbers. And if I take everything times 4, that would give me 4 pi, 6 pi, and 2 pi. Or you could take your 8 pi, which is your interval. So if my period is equal to, so this is the way I like because then I get my counting numbers quicker. Or you can say period equals 8 pi, divide that by 4, and you get your interval step, which is 2 pi, which means your very first tick is 2 pi. Either way, this problem will get you the right answer. It's just when you have fractions, it makes it a little bit difficult. And the only other thing I need to have is my cosine and my shift right 2 pi. So I will take cosine as top. So don't forget that I'm going to start at the top. So I'm going to write up here, top. And then I'm going to go mark everything that I need. So remember on this graph, you can call this out as your midline and say y equals 2 here. And if you do that, you can make a mark above and below, roughly equidistant. My top number was 6. My bottom number was negative 2. You may also just write the 2 here at that mark. And then my amplitude is considered there. Ghost line, if you wanted a ghost line. Use a neon green. You would just draw in a ghost line here. That is really thin. Let's try that again. So that ghost line just says, hey, graph on that line, top and bottom. And do the same thing down below. I would use a ruler for this normally. And so then now I'm just going to label my counting numbers. So I have 2 pi be the first, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi, and then my interval says go negative 4, which means I need to go to the left, and then I need to go up to 14. So I'm going to count up to 14, or I'm going to fill everything in. It's up to you on what you'd like to do. 8 pi, So I have 10 pi, 12 pi, 14 pi. If you want to, you can keep going to 16 pi. You don't know what you need, but I could have stopped at 14, and then I'm going to have negative 2 pi and negative 4 pi. So with that, the next thing I need to do, which is the last thing, is know that I'm going to start at the top, but normally we start here on 0, but what we're going to do is we're going to shift to start right here. So my top is going to start here, and then I'm going to go middle, bottom, middle, top, middle, and then bottom, and that's where I would stop because that's the end of my interval. And then I would graph backwards, so middle, bottom, middle, and then I would sketch that out and make it curvy. Try to keep it curvy, and then do not go past your intervals.